Hey everyone, I'm Trevor, and today we're at Disneyland and a Disney California adventure to ride every single ride that has a single rider line and show you how it works. So let's get going. And we are going to start our single rider video here at Radiator Springs Racers. It's pretty much the only ride in both parks that has a single rider line, that has a long enough line first thing in the morning to actually use single rider. So this is a 55-minute standby wait, and so we go through this side for single rider. I mean, you guys have seen me use single rider here at Radiator Springs Racers more often than the standby. So you're probably used to it for this attraction. Amy is with me doing this single rider video, single rider challenge, if you will. We did not bring the kids because Benjamin's not old enough. And I could have saved this video for September when he is old enough, but there's quite a few rides that I still would not send him single rider on.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah. Saurin being the main one. I don't think I would send him on.
He could be by himself for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, who knows? And then of course I could have filmed this on my own. It is a single rider and I come up here by myself more often than not. But what we want to show you is what happens when you have a group. Because some rides are really group friendly, like Radiator Springs Racers. There's a good chance we'll be in the same vehicle. Not the same row, but the same vehicle. So we want to see what happens through all of them. There are nine. Why did I put up my hand? There are 9 single rider rides between the two parks. Now, I have never actually done single rider this early in the morning before. There is nobody in line. This is going to be a practical walk-on for single rider. You could probably just ride this over and over a couple of times. That's how empty this line is. Usually when we go, it's like a 15 to 17 minute wait. And yep, look, this is how it worked. I'm in row 1 and Amy ended up in row 2. So yeah, even though we went single rider, we'll still be in the same ride vehicle.
We waited so long.
Oh yeah, I don't even know why you timed it.
Because sometimes it can still be 15 minutes.
That's just the time it took to walk through the queue.
Yeah, I know.
Howdy! Here for the big race, huh? It's gonna be fun! Hey, you ever go tractor tipping? It's easy. Just sneak up on them and boom! Ready? Don't let Frank touch it.
Uno for the money, 2 for the show. 3 together ready, and the quadro goes.
A party of 2 is actually still pretty useful when using the single rider line, just because a large majority of the rides are actually 2 people friendly. There's even one later on, and you guys should be aware of it because we do it all the time, that's like a secret single rider for 2 people. So it'll just leave you in suspense if you don't know what I'm talking about. You should know what we're talking about. Anyway, if you have more than 2 people, it gets a little bit hairier, but like if you have a party of 4, there's a good chance that you would still go 2 and 2 on like Radiator Springs Racers. The reason for this is that the ride vehicle seats 6, and the average party group is a party of 4. Like that's just the most common party group. And so they split them 2 and 2, and then they take 2 single riders to fill in the empty seats because it's 3 and 3. So that's why it usually ends up working that way on Radiators. I love it. Right now we're actually headed over to Toy Story Midway Mania here at Pixar Pier just for some fun. There's no single rider line there. It is 8:50 in the morning, and everywhere in the park besides Guardians and Radiator Springs Racers is a 5-minute wait. It's actually a pretty awesome morning. The trouble is, single rider lines don't really get used until there's around 30 minutes. Now, like, don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly the time frame, but that's just when I seem to notice single riders start to get used. If it's a 5 or a 10-minute wait, they're just gonna send you through the standby. So we can't really use any other single riders until a little bit later on when it gets busier.
If you're wondering why it's already 8:50 and you know we've only ridden one ride today and you're like, that's not us. It's because we took it slow this morning. We filmed a breakfast video for you. We are redoing our vegan food video for you guys. So we had a chill morning eating breakfast together.
When we got out of Toy Story Midway Mania, Incredicoaster actually looks like it has a shorter line than it did when we went to Toy Story. But the single rider entrance is actually right here. That pole with the Incredibles logo, the other side of it says single rider. We did see some people heading down here. It's not very full at the moment. A lot of the times the single rider will actually back up here on the bridge. We might end up riding this again later. Just to give you a better idea of how long the single rider line actually takes, because right now there's hardly anybody here. So they did give us this little single rider ticket, and then we do have to go up the elevator, and then you have to go across the bridge and then back down on the other side. So right now we're just gonna show you how it works, what happens, and if we have time a little bit later today, we'll ride it again when it's busier so you can see just about how long single rider usually takes. And then down here in the loading area, there's actually a very, very small amount of space for single riders. You're all standing here waiting to get sent to our individual lines. Amy already got sent up to the other line. It was about 7 minutes for her. And then I just got sent forward. And I think it's because if a train like that is coming, it's only got one seat in it. So yes, I got a row that only actually has one seat. Amy's wait was about 7 minutes, mine was 9, but I got to skip the line a little bit because of that seat with only one person. There were 2 people already waiting in the line, but the cast member sent me in front of them because he knew the next train coming was only gonna have that one seat. So yeah, that was interesting. 9 minutes for me. Posted wait time was 15 on standby, so it saved a little less than half of the time. I can't say for certain whether that 15 minutes was accurate. I still want to try it again later when the single rider is super long, because it was really short. There were only 8 people in front of us and it still took 7 to 9 minutes. So I think it might be worse later. We'll have to see.
I'm not sure if Incredicoaster is worth using the single rider lines, so that's why we are here today. We are gonna film the single rider lines and the parts and see if they are worth using the single rider versus the standby line.
Next up, we're gonna come to Web Slingers because the standby wait is a 25-minute wait. We are coming in the single rider line at the moment, and to our left here is the multi-pass line, and then we're gonna go in the single rider line. We're gonna see how it works for this attraction. We're getting sent through this little back door, and you'll notice that there is a fence here that separates us from access to the regular group over here. So they're gonna go out that door on that side, and I guess we're gonna go through this door over here. I don't know.
It all helps us develop really cool stuff like these spider bots, for example. Check it out, they have this really cool self-replicating feature. Because it's awesome. Buddy, you can stop doing that now.
Okay, so we've got our own little sunglasses, 3D glasses tray over here. And it's where am I going? Guess we're gonna go down here. Vehicle assembly line. Oh, here we go. I pop out down here. Looks like it. We're the next people. Amy and I just got taken at the same time. She is in row 2, which is actually going to be in a separate vehicle from mine. And then I'm going to be over here in row 3. From the moment that we got in line to the moment that we're getting on the vehicle, it was 8 minutes. So most of that was the pre-show. And as a reminder, it was a 25-minute posted standby time. Amy actually got sent back to the line. She was mistakenly added with a group that already had 4 people. So once she gets out here, we'll talk about it. And she stepped out right behind me, so not too bad. So when I first boarded the vehicle, my first thoughts were, this is kind of awkward. I'm joining another family and like, you know, they're doing their own thing, and then this like stranger walks into the vehicle. That was my like first reaction. Like, okay, this is kind of weird.
Like that too.
Then we're riding the ride, and I'm like, oh, you know what? This is kind of nice. For once, I'm the top score on every single screen. Until the end, when someone else still beat me.
What? I cranked everybody in my vehicle.
I still lost.
What did you have?
I had 218, I think.
Okay, I had 248.
205.
I had 248, 700.
I had 205. So you still beat me.
I still beat you.
You still beat me, and the person that beat me had the 218. That's what it was. But I can't believe I still lost. At 10:30 a.m., Soarin' Around the World is a 40-minute standby wait, so we are going to try the single rider. We've done it on this one before, and just from our previous experience, this one is probably the least useful single rider, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, never mind. It just dropped to a 25-minute wait, and we asked if the single rider line was open, and they said no, it was not, because it's going really fast. So even at 25 minutes, they said it wasn't open. So we'll have to try again.
Is Grizzly up yet?
I don't know. Grizzly River Run is actually a 10-minute standby wait. It's not quite hot enough. It's only 75 degrees at the moment. It's going to be a high of 89 today, so I know it will definitely get a long line a little bit later. And I also looked, Goofy's Sky School, which is another single rider line here at Disney California Adventure, is at a 15-minute wait. So we are just going to have to kill about an hour and let the park get a little busier before we continue this video. We were on our way to lunch and passed by Goofy's, and Goofy's is up to a 25-minute wait now, so we're going to see if the single rider is available. So you go through the multi-pass entrance, but then you follow the sign that says single rider. I've never done single rider for this ride, but wow, there's like hardly anybody in the single rider for how busy the actual queue is. This is I'm hoping this is going to be an amazing single rider. Now, since the ride vehicle fits just 4 people and the average party size is 4 people, there aren't that many opportunities for single riders. So we'll see how long this takes. And there goes Amy, and we've only been waiting for 3 minutes total. I'm not going to make this vehicle here, but I should make this one looking at the line that's coming up. Well, I was only like 2 cars behind Amy. It really wasn't bad. And it is 10:56 at the moment. It was 10:50 when we got in line. So including the ride, it was only 6 minutes for both of us. So that actually went a lot faster than I thought. I mean, the line was shorter than I expected for how long the standby is. I mean, they were starting to go in the extended queue.
Yeah, that standby looked a lot longer than 25 minutes.
It did. So that single rider was pretty awesome. Definitely would recommend that one. Now, we might want to check, I feel like we need to check these things again when it gets a lot busier, but today in general has been really good.
I haven't ever seen this one get a long single rider line.
Okay.
Whereas Incredicoaster, like everyone...
Incredicoaster, that one gets the longest, I feel like, because it's very visible.
Yeah.
That one always has a long line. But no, I mean, we've had a really great day today overall. Because it's a D23 weekend, the park has been pretty chill this morning.
It's starting to get a little bit busier now.
It is a little bit. Well, we'll see what happens the rest of the day. Time to do Grizzly River Run. Now, a minute ago it said it was 40 minutes. I feel like the sign over there now says 25 minutes, but we're still going to try the single rider. You have to basically go up through the exit here. Oh, we have to get a thing from a cast member first? Let's see, they might not be handing them out yet. Since it's only 25, we'll have to see. Actually, it is available, and they handed me a very worn single rider ticket. And they do have that notice up there that says, please obtain a pass from the river guide at the entrance. And then we're just gonna go up the exit. There is a lot of people coming up the exits, kind of hard to get down there. But the good news is the line looks pretty non-existent. Well, I got in already, but Amy's going right now. So she is 4 boats behind me. Not too bad.
see the drum. I see it.
Here we go. There's Amy's boat. She doesn't look too wet. Not too wet at all. I'm not very wet either.
Poor hair.
Wow.
Poor hair. It's a mess, guys.
That's the second time we've ridden that ride in 2 weeks.
I think that's a record.
I know. We don't usually ride this all that often. I gotta say, single rider, like, that alarm noise was Amy's reminder for us to grab a Haunted Mansion virtual queue. So if you can't grab it at 7 a.m. or like us, you started in the wrong park. If you start in DCA, you actually can't grab a virtual queue until the second group. So it drops again at 12 o'clock. She set an alarm for 11:58 so we could get in the app, log in, confirm our party and all that sort of thing. I was able to grab a boarding group for 141. They're currently serving like 62 to 81. So we're about halfway there. It's been 4 hours. So I'm expecting it to get called maybe sometime around 4 o'clock. So that should be fine. That has nothing to do with the single rider video, just explaining why her alarm went off.
Yeah.
But I think what I was in the middle of saying was I'm finding that we've never ridden most of these single riders and they're all really easy. Like really easy.
Yeah. I'm half tempted to go hop on Grizzly again because I'm already dry.
How long was that? Like 2 minutes to, I mean, at the wait. Once we got down to the bottom, it was like 2-3 minutes
Well,
tops.
you were a lot faster than me. So they called both of us and then realized that they overcounted. So they sent me back.
They didn't overcount. There was just one of the empty seats was on the far side of the raft, and they didn't want you to have to climb over people.
Okay.
So that's why they sent you back.
So they sent me back, and then I waited another like
You
two boats.
were 4 boats
Yeah,
behind me.
I wasn't that far
Yeah.
behind.
But I mean, yeah, 25. Well, it's up to 35 now, but it was 25 minutes standby wait, and we waited 3
I
minutes.
mean, so one of the people in my boat said that it said 25, and they waited 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said
Wow.
they had gone on like that was their second time riding it. in a
Okay.
row. And they said it took them like 10 minutes to get through the line.
Wow.
It's moving really fast.
Wow. Yeah, so I guess it's hard to then judge, single rider 3 minutes versus 10. It's not that big of a savings, but when you don't know what it's posted at something, you don't know what it actually is. So I don't know. I'm finding the single rider really awesome today. How about you?
Yeah, it's been fun. The only one like we said, that we're still not sure on because it did take quite a while was Incredicoaster.
And that was just with like
and
8
that
people
was
in
just
front of
with 8
us.
people in front of us.
Yeah.
I feel like that one is not worth it necessarily.
Not if the line is all the way out wrapping up Pixar Pier.
Yeah.
Probably not. We're gonna give Saurin another shot. It is now a 35-minute standby wait, and it's noon, just after noon. So it is open, and again, it's at 35 minutes. The guy just gave us a disclaimer when we came in. He says, just so you know, this could be just as long, if not longer, than the standby line. So, yeah, we're aware. This isn't the best ride for single rider. They sent the first 2 single riders down this way. The person in front of me was 1. I'm 2. That means Amy is back at the split. She could easily end up in the other concourse. I have been waiting for 8 minutes, and I am being assigned to a concourse already. So works for me. That's better than 35, and actually a much better experience than we had last time. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Amy.
First, I'd like to acquaint you with some important safety information. When the doors to your flight open, please take a seat and store all carry-on items in the underseat compartment. This includes cameras, purses, hats, and, of course, these little beauties.
Well, including the pre-show and the ride itself, I was out of there in just 17 minutes. Not bad. Pretty good. I think that was probably the fastest single rider experience I've ever had with Saurin. They sent me and that one girl down, you know, after the split, they sent us down the right concourse, and both of us actually made it on the next showing of Saurin. Doesn't always happen. The last time that Amy and I did this, Amy got on one pretty quickly, and then even the next showing to go through, I didn't get on it at all. They took no single riders for the next showing, and it was actually 2 showings after Amy. So Amy had been sitting out here waiting for about 10 minutes or so for me. We'll see how long now I'm out here waiting for her. Oh, also, while I'm thinking about it, if there is one other downside to the single rider for Saurin, it is that you're most likely going to be sitting at the end of a row, and they have scents throughout the ride that enhance your experience, things that smell like what you're seeing on screen. And because there's only one vent above you instead of one on either side, like if you're in the middle seat, it wasn't as strong. Now, this would happen if you were the first or the last person, irregardless of whether or not you are on single rider. Amy has appeared at 12:38, so it has been 33 minutes for her.
It took a little while.
Now, granted, that included the ride, but
Still like
I was out here in like 20. So I've been sitting for about 10 to 15 minutes waiting for her. It wasn't bad, mind you, but still
bad, but I wouldn't do it if you're like a family of 4.
Oh, definitely not in a party any larger than 2.
Yeah.
I think that you would be far too split up.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be worth
We
it.
waited, I think in Myra, like we waited for, I think it was at least 2 like full cycles through, maybe even 3 before they finally called 3 of us all at once. I was expecting to be down there even longer.
Well, we were going to come do the secret single rider, that is Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue, which the single rider is actually called a buddy pass, which we have talked about here on the channel multiple times. Buddy pass allows 2 or 3 people, up to 2 or 3 people. I'm pretty sure you can still use it as single rider, but up to 2 or 3 people to fill the 3rd row in on the attraction. However, you notice that little horse going across the entrance there? That means the ride is down. And with that being literally the last thing that we needed to do in DCA, and not being a true single rider, and something that we talk about on the channel a lot, we're just gonna hop over to Disneyland now. If we get a chance to come back and do it later, we will. However, we wanna make sure that we get all the single riders in both parks done before we, waste unnecessary time. So we're gonna hop right now and see what we can do over at Disneyland.
Because it's going to take us so long to do 2 rides in Disneyland on single rider.
I don't know. I'm not going to stand there and wait for it to reopen. What else am I going to do? So we're just going to go to Disneyland. There are 3 single rider rides at Disneyland. However, Space Mountain is closed at the moment, so we can't do that one. I'm still going to go over there and talk about it so that you can know how it works. And then there's actually a 4th one. It's another secret hidden ride over there. And it's the Roo Pass, which functions just like the Buddy Pass for Winnie the Pooh. However, that ride is also closed. After a short little break to film a snack for our vegan food video that we mentioned earlier, which will most likely be coming on the channel later than this one, we are now over at Disneyland at 1:24 in the afternoon, and we're probably going to go straight up to Matterhorn. The water's going over the waterfall. That's a good sign, because this one is prone to being closed too. Yeah, I take it back. The waterfall does not mean that the ride is working. That's maintenance. So we've come over here to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with Millennium Falcon's Smugglers Run. This is probably my second favorite single rider line, because there is like a 90% chance or so that Amy and I are going to end up together.
As engineers.
Yes, as engineers. That's the downside. You're always the engineer. The single rider line is over here off to the left, and very few people actually use it. It's like we're just going down a long hallway. Where are we going? I've done this before, but it seems longer.
Just take it nice and slow. It feels good in here.
It is very nice in here. Now, there are some stairs in here. Is there an elevator?
I don't know. Do I need to go back down there and see?
I'm curious, because, yeah, let's go find out. We went back down to the main split. You actually have 2 choices. You can go left or right, and it takes you to either side of the attraction. And we did not see an elevator. So it looks like this one might not be friendly to folks who cannot climb stairs. And then you are joined right here where they assign your color to your boarding group. And about 2 minutes later, we were assigned a group. Now, they did ask us if we wanted to stay together or if we were willing to go separate. If we were willing to go separate, they could have sent us forward probably like 4 or 5 times. But they waited for a group that needed 2. And like I said, it only took about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it still wasn't long.
No, it wasn't long at all.
Engineer, repair that. Go back to button. Good job, engineer. Right, pilot. Push the flashing button to take off. Pilot on the left. Move your stick to fly right and left. I was just about to say that. Pilot on the right. Pull back on the stick to fly out. And push forward to fly down. Only one gunner. Weapons are online. Left pilot, hit the boosters. Shoot the cargo free. Left pilot, brakes. Oh, my friends, that could have been much worse. Okay, it's much worse. Yes, you got one. You retrieved 2 containers of coaxium. Your cut minus what you owe me for damaging the Falcon is, hey, not bad.
Not bad. Well, it has been just 16 minutes from the moment that we entered the line. That included waiting for them to pair us up with a group and waiting inside the Falcon, which was honestly like 15 to 20 seconds, and then the pre-show, and then the ride itself. So 16 minutes for all of that. Pretty solid. Love single rider for Smugglers, especially since we got to do it together. I routinely do that with James, where James and I will ride together. We love it. Take 2 on the Matterhorn. I actually did see it just go by, and there are people on it. So that's even better news than a waterfall. The main entrance to the ride is on the other side of those trees, but over here in the stroller parking area, there's actually an entrance to the single rider right there, except for there's a chain across the path. So it's not currently open, even though it is a 45-minute standby wait. It's possible that it's because this attraction just opened from being closed. So we might have to come back in a little bit, and hopefully they'll open that up. So it looked like this right-hand side was still closed. They're just now starting to send people over into that, and that's possible. That would be why the single rider is not quite open. We might wait here for a couple of minutes because here's some people queuing for single rider already. Well, they just opened it, and now they are going to spill us in either side. We'll see where we get sent. So we are going to go on the Fantasyland side, which is Amy's preferred side. It's a little bit smoother. Now, despite this being the same ride configuration as Cars, that is 3 and 3 for 6 people, it is not as efficient as Cars in terms of single rider line. And the reason for that is because of this basically like single file row seating. Because you're not technically sitting next to anyone, whenever they board groups of 4, they usually will do 3 in the front and then 1 in the back, and then they'll take a party of 2 for the back half of the vehicle. So it moves a lot slower since they don't do 2 and 2. Amy just pointed out that the single rider pass for this attraction looks like they're freshly printed. They have no bends, and they feel really new. We have approximately 5 people in front of us, so we'll see how long this takes. It's been 8 minutes, and Amy just got taken, so she'll be getting on next. We'll see how much longer for me. Probably not too much longer. And I got called just a minute after that. That ended up actually being only about 9 minutes for me in the single rider line. I don't know what it was including the ride, but I was on right after Amy, so it worked out. The only downside is, Fantasyland side or not, the back seat is still terribly bumpy. I don't know if you experienced that.
Mine wasn't as bad.
Were you in the back seat?
No, I was in number 4.
Okay.
So I was in like the front seat of the second car.
No, so I was in the back seat, seat number 6,
Oh, yeah,
and it was still terribly bumpy. And also, just the way that your feet have to go in that vehicle always like twerks my hips a little weird. And it didn't happen this time, but in the past, I've gotten like stabbing pains in my side from that back row.
I was about to say, seat number 4, it was like a normal like roller coaster seat. Like I didn't
know.
have to straddle anything.
I like
Kinda
seat
nice.
number 1 and seat number 4. They're my 2 favorite seats for that. And it's not too bad. Seat number 1 I think is probably the smoothest of all of the seats. So if you're worried about this being bumpy, just sit in the front row, ask if you can sit in the front row.
So if you're really worried about it being bumpy, just don't ride it.
Just don't ride it. And the last attraction that we have to talk about with a single rider line is, of course, Space Mountain. Just a quick reminder, this attraction closed on August 5th and will reopen September 6th, I think. Yes, September 6th. Closed just over a month for a much needed refurbishment because there were some things that were broken in it. Apparently during the refurb, they won't even let you get down to use the restrooms that are down here. But the single rider line actually got moved to over here. So this little area here, which was the exit to the theater that used to be here. The theater, well, it's still there, that it's just not being used for anything. The single rider line queues up right here now. You go through the exit of the attraction, but it was getting so popular that it was clogging up the ADA pathways back there. So they have moved the line out to here, and then they start to pull people from here and send you in through the attraction. So that's how that would work. I turned around to talk to Amy, and she was gone. She said she found a shady spot and was sitting down. So we have done this plenty of times before, and I feel like this one is fairly average, right? Like in terms of...
it's not super fast, I would say.
But it's also not the slowest.
But at the same time, I've heard lately, because it's suddenly got more popular, that it's actually been really slow compared to before, like when we did it. So I wish it was open so we could retest it out. But it's one of those ones where there's even groups a lot of the times and it doesn't get filled up super fast.
Now, you might be saying, hold on a minute. I thought Indiana Jones Adventure had a single rider line.
So this morning I was riding Grizzly River Run, and I happened to be next to someone who's a cast member here in Disneyland. And I asked her, I'm like, didn't Indiana Jones used to have a single rider? And she comes...
The magic is still alive, folks. That cast member just asked everyone in the vicinity to say happy birthday to the little girl there. Then it was very cute. The magic is still alive. On with your story.
Okay, so I asked this cast member this morning when we were riding Grizzly, I said, didn't Indiana Jones used to have a single rider? And she confirmed, pre-COVID, there used to be a single rider line for Indiana Jones. It just never came back.
Don't know why.
We don't know why. She doesn't know why, because she said she works this ride, and she said they send vehicles through with empty seats all the time. But
shout out to David. That's what his name was. Thank you, David, for going over the top. I would fill out a cast compliment on the Disneyland app for you if I had been able to see the location of where you're from on the name tag. I might still do it and just say he was in the vicinity of Indiana Jones. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it is. They can work off of David in the vicinity of Indiana Jones. But usually you need their hometown, like if it says, San Diego or whatever. You kind of need that usually to get super specific with the cast compliments, but we'll try. Our virtual queue for Haunted Mansion was called, and this is the back of the virtual queue line all the way back here. I thought virtual queue was supposed to prevent there being a line. We'll see how long this takes. Okay, now this is the back of the line. This makes much more sense. The people that were back there were just hanging out in the area waiting for their boarding group to be called. But this is the back of the line now. Oh, and by the way, our boarding group was called at 2:33 in the afternoon. I know we guesstimated 4 earlier, but it got called at 2:33, and it's about 2:50 or so at the moment.
Are you ready to resume
It just
your
stopped.
visit?
From the moment that we got in line to the moment that we got on the ride was 16 minutes, and that included the pre-show, so not bad at all. We just got started here, and the ride came to a stop. They're probably loading a wheelchair down at the bottom there. This gives me an opportunity to take a closer look. We've got some dog bones here. Have you seen the meme where they said that Jack Skellington and Zero are the Grinch and Max? It's just a joke. Well, it was your first time back on Haunted Mansion since January. How was it?
Good.
You liked it?
Yeah. And it's nice AC for a while, and we get to sit. And
Was it good to have it back?
it is. I mean, it does still feel really early since it's, August and Christmas isn't for a while, but
And that's it for our time here today at Disneyland, trying out all the single rider lines. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you still have questions about how it works, drop them in the comments below. I'm always happy to answer them. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. Click this video to keep watching. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again next time.